Welcome to another edition of Cambridge Inside Out. My name's Robert Winters.
And I'm Judy Nathans.
And today's June 14th,
Yes.
2016.
Wow. Time flies.
Definitely. So, been an interesting week for some of us, I think.
Yeah.
Some good, some horrible.
All right. I blocked my mind. Whoop.
Yeah. I just actually, it's funny because this is the week when, well, this is the month when it's supposed to be my vacation from work, and it actually has been
feeling. You don't start your summer term yet?
Well, we start Harvard summer school. Actually, let me just. We're all heard here.
Yeah.
Start summer school next Monday.
Okay.
And I figure, okay, should be vacation, then it's back to work.
Not much of a vacation.
Honestly, going back to work is going to feel like a vacation because this has been a wild week for civic affairs and other affairs.
Right.
To be sure. I was actually just this afternoon, I was just thinking through some of the things that sort of been occupying certainly my time, and actually we've done a few things together as well. Mm-hmm. Last week, after we did the show last week, I think it was on Wednesday morning. Every other week we do this Central Square Safety and Infrastructure meeting. Mm-hmm. People from the police department, public works department, Central Square Business Association.
They were at my meeting at least till 9.
Somewhere, yeah. At least that's why we didn't have the public works folks there at that one. But then we did that in the morning, and then by the in addition to other things, by that evening. I had been drafted by some members of the Cambridge Democratic City Committee.
Oh, that's when it happened?
Yeah,
okay.
to be a moderator for a candidate forum for the 2nd Middlesex State Senate District. I'd actually never been a moderator for a candidate forum, so it was kind of an experience.
And what does that cover any of Cambridge?
Yeah, actually, I have a map here somewhere, but it's actually Pat Jalen's district is
and she's from Somerville, right?
Yeah,
Bedford,
it's sort of about a third of the city, the western burbs
of Cambridge.
Yeah, big.
Okay.
It's actually a pretty sizable chunk of the city.
This is a state senate seat.
State senate seat, yeah, and most of the state senate and state rep seats for Cambridge are. Without challengers, but this is one which has a substantial challenger in City Councilor Leland Chung.
Right.
So I know both candidates.
Mm-hmm.
So when you have to play moderator, you want to, I didn't want to play favorites anyway.
Yeah.
But you sort of have to, even in the words you use, you have to take care.
Yeah.
I found myself very self-conscious at points saying, if I would refer to Leland Chung as Leland,
and then
I would say Senator Jalen. So I said, well, let me
Counselor Chung.
So if I said Leland once, then I would say Pat, and then if I would say Senator Jalen, and then Counselor Chung. I was trying to keep it even, Stephen.
Yeah.
And actually it went pretty well. I think the organizers of the forum gave me a bunch of questions that were the preferred questions. I had prepared some extra questions that I would ask.
So you knew the questions ahead of time, not just that evening. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I got them that morning, I think.
All right.
And I modified them a little bit, kind of on the fly. Mm-hmm. In retrospect, I think I should have consolidated a few of them that were a little too similar, and then put in some of the ones that I had prepared. Actually, the real validation of that was at the very end when Senator Jalen said, well, there were some important issues we didn't get to at this forum. Uh-huh. And when she was saying, I was looking at my list going, there they were, all my questions I didn't get to. So
interesting.
But a lot of people came up to me and said it went very well. Good. So I think the only issue, I mean, I've certainly seen this over the years with city council candidate forums where you could have, you can have 25 candidates. Most of them actually agree on most things.
Well, they're all essentially Democrats.
Democrats. Everybody believes in affordable housing. Everybody loves diversity.
Right.
There's a lot of the same phrases.
How do you get differentiated?
Right. Now, so on a city council level, I kind of know what most of the issues are. I have to be perfectly honest. once you start kind of walking up the chain,
Yeah.
like state reps,
Right.
state senates, state house,
It's a little more,
et cetera,
yeah.
I'm not always familiar with
Right, because
all
it's
the
different
particulars.
cities they cover, and you have to know what the hot issues maybe
Yeah,
are in those cities.
what's the big
Yeah.
pending legislation up at the
Right.
state house?
Right.
So I did a little bit of homework, and it turns out I wasn't as bad off as I thought. So that was
Good.
that was actually.
Was it an hour? Was it more than an hour?
It was actually 2 hours.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, it didn't start until 15 minutes in,
Okay.
so it was
That's a long
little.
time for two
Yeah,
people. Ooh.
yeah, and I think my feeling about candidate forums, especially if you only have two candidates,
Yeah.
is that it's really what you're doing is you're helping to exhibit these candidates so that people can get a little taste of what they're about. You
Yeah.
know, it's not so much trying to create a fight or,
No.
or anything else. It's
You're
just
not
sort of
Fox News.
you're putting them on, putting them on display, letting them speak their mind, and
Yeah.
let people judge. There were definitely some different focuses from the candidates. I think the one point where there seemed to be some disagreement was on the issue of charter schools. And it's not even there. It's not so much that one candidate was absolutely for and the other one was absolutely against. But I think it was fair to say that Senator Jalen was, after she was originally in favor of charter schools once upon a time, but
Did she say that, or you knew that?
Oh, yeah, she kind of
Okay.
explained her history about it. But at this time, she's not particularly eager to be expanding them or anything, whereas Councillor Chung was a little bit more wanting, we need more choice for parents, and
Right.
charter schools provide additional choice and whatnot. I think that there were some people, from the local Democratic City Committee, I think were a little predisposed to the anti-charter school mindset.
Is that
so-
who sponsored it?
I think it was, yeah. So there was, that's where people in the audience got a little vocal and
Yeah.
whatnot. Things got a little testy. I think it was the only question amongst the candidates where we had to do sort of an additional back and forth after the
Interesting.
original
Yeah.
round. So things got a little interesting. But for me, it was also just an interesting experience as well. Just sort of playing moderator, I mean, to be perfectly honest, I probably would have been more comfortable out in the parking lot behind, brown-bagging it with a few friends. And there I was as Mr. Legit up there,
Yeah.
wearing a nice shirt.
So that's a primary? That will happen
Yeah,
in September?
well, I mean, that's the sort of tragic reality about Massachusetts elections, at least this
Yeah.
part of the state, is that the outcome is pretty much determined in a relatively low voter turnout primary in September.
Right,
And then a meaningless November election where there's typically no
because there's no
opponent.
challenger, right?
Yeah, no.
But this
other
election
rival
will
party.
be a presidential one, so it's not like we're wasting time at the polls.
And in November, but the thing
That's
is
what I meant,
that there's nothing, unless I'm mistaken, there's nothing particularly substantial in the September primary other than
Oh.
state house, state senate, state rep seats. So you basically make those
Sheriff, They have these
determinations.
different things, but you're
Yeah.
right, there's no challenge.
I don't, I've often said, I even mentioned this at the candidate forum, is that if you ask the average person on the street,
Oh, yeah.
who's the president, they'll know. Who's the vice president, they might know. Who's the
State
mayor,
senate.
they might know. Do you know a city council or a school committee member, they might
might
know.
know.
You ask who's their state rep or state senator,
They don't know.
they typically don't know.
Probably don't vote in those
Yeah.
elections or don't.
So I think I ended the forum pretty much I gave a homework assignment to the attendees.
To
said you learned, I learned a few things tonight, so did you. Your job, everyone, is to go. Your homework assignment is to go out and tell everybody else why it matters.
Great.
So
No, this wasn't recorded, was it?
I don't think it was recorded. I think there was one
yeah.
individual but had a small
Like a small
recorder.
thing, Yeah,
But it wasn't like recorded in some really really big wild way.
interesting.
So anyway, that was Wednesday. It's kind of funny. I was like every single day. It was like I felt like I was on the job.
Yeah.
Thursday was the grand opening of the.
Oh, yeah, I didn't go to that.
the,
Grand opening of the Grand Junction.
The Grand Junction. We could actually show
Yeah.
an image or two of this here. Yeah, let's see. Are we
So-
queued up to do this? If I remember how this goes.
Well, you switch it over, and then
Yeah.
I just.
So,
can,
for those that don't know, the Grand Junction Railroad is the railroad that runs down around by MIT, kind of cutting off MIT from the rest of the city and East Cambridge from the rest of the city. And there's presumably it will still be used for rail use in the future, but parallel to the track. For the most part, there's additional right-of-way. And in this particular section, it was actually just an unused piece of land that was under the control of the Cambridge Redevelopment Authority.
Can I ask you what those things are in the back?
Yeah, this is a kind of a funny thing. At this event, there were people looking up at these things, which I think were supposed to be some kind of seating for kids to play.
So so when you're up close to it, it's at waist height or something?
Yeah.
Okay, it's hard to tell.
Well, I was just calling them boing boing chairs or something.
So they're not rigid?
Well, everybody's just making jokes about what they were.
I don't think I've seen
even
those.
know. I don't know what they were either, but anyway, so Tim Toomey was in many respects kind of a bit of a rock star at this, because he's been an advocate for this for a long time, and it's his hood, and it's his dual roles as city councilor and state representative, promoting this. A few others here. Let's actually maybe scroll down. If anybody wants to, we could also make them bigger.
Oh, isn't that Sarah Gallup?
Sarah Gallup from MIT's representative, because MIT's
I make it bigger by hitting on it?
Yeah, you can do that. Hopefully, there we go. So that's
Nice.
Sarah Gallup, one of our MIT people. I think you have to kind of, actually,
Now what do I do?
I think if you go back,
Oh,
you can go
good.
right
Okay,
back.
good. So then I
There.
scroll, and then who is?
Yeah, and then John
this was,
Sanzone. So there was the city manager, Richie Rossi was there, Tim Toomey, Sarah Gallup. There was actually several others. We're not going to show everybody here.
Well, this
John
is the same
Sanzone was, he was a
former candidate.
right, so here's a group of, there were 3 city councilors present for the grand opening: Mark McGovern, Jan Devereaux, Tim Toomey.
Oh, I
You
see
also
Owen in the back there.
Richie Rossi's there, and on the far right is actually the project manager or
This man right
project program manager is Jason Zog, who we might remember.
I remember Jason.
He was actually for a little while before
On the
he went
Recycling
away.
He was
on a recycling advisory committee,
went
so
out
we
to
know him
the
from way
West
back
Coast.
when.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's Owen from the Public Works Commissioners in the photo, Kara Seidemann, the bicycle coordinator. Robert Reardon is behind Jan Devereaux, is the assessor for the city of Cambridge. So it was a very nice, well-attended event.
I guess I don't really know where this is. Did they just add these chairs and everything?
Yeah, the thing is there's a slightly wider portions of the area, so you can actually see, it's a little bit park-like, some seating
cutting the ribbon
there.
here.
Yeah, so this really was literally a ribbon cutting. So
who's this person?
Well, actually, I'll walk through everybody. I think I can name everyone there. There's Margaret Drury, who's on the Cambridge Redevelopment Authority, is to the far left. Conrad Crawford, who's also on the Cambridge Redevelopment Authority.
Okay.
There's Jan Devereaux, then Richie Rossi, Tim Toomey, Mark McGovern, former city councilor, and now
I recognize
Cambridge Redevelopment Authority member, I think chair, Kathy Bourne.
Cool.
Then it's Tom Evans, who's the executive director of the Redevelopment Authority. Sarah Gallup is kind of obscured behind Barry Zevins, who's also, he's the state appointee.
Wait, this is a man right here?
Yep, of the Cambridge Redevelopment Authority,
and
then Jason.
Wow, nice.
So it's nice gang of folks. Just for laughs, I decided to take a picture of the scissors. If you're going to do a ribbon cutting, you have to have the scissors, right?
Why two?
Because everybody wants to be the person cutting the ribbon, so you have to get at least 2. So here's from the MIT real estate people is Anya Baer on the right and Michael Owa on the left. So, I've known some of them for a good long while. And there's just a nice, straight shot looking down here. I mean, to be perfectly honest, the piece that was open here was really just one long, very long block. But as many people pointed out who were there, if you don't build this and sort of basically, put your,
I think I know where this is now. I think I've walked on this.
Yeah. So if you don't do the one piece here, then you don't have nearly as much demand for the continuation.
Right.
The right-of-way that runs by MIT is certainly there. This was sort of a nice opportunistic shot.
The trains keep rolling,
The trains keep rolling.
Nice shot of these, whatever these are.
These sort of funky little boing-boing seats there.
I wouldn't sit in that.
Yeah.
Jeez. I think
I
a
don't-
lot of liabilities.
I'll have to go back there just to see what the hell those
Is that
darn
a
things
strap
are.
across?
I don't know.
Because that looks like
I'm-
it could get caught in a few
I
things. Yeah.
don't. I am not
Okay.
even going to try.
All right.
So.
All right,
anyway,
nice. Very
so,
nice.
So anyway, that was kind of fun on a Thursday, and actually Friday. I don't have anything fancy to show, and I'm not even going to tell the names, but we had Will MacArthur on the program several weeks back.
Oh, right, the CRLS
Yeah,
elections, right.
Originally, I certainly learned about Will because Cambridge Regional Latin High School had decided to use proportional representation, and really more specifically ranked choice balloting in the selection of various student government positions.
And
senior
representatives on the school committee.
Right, there's 2 representatives on the school committee. There's senior class president, vice president, and a few other things. I think there's junior and sophomore class representatives. There are 4. So you had to elect 4. It was a multi-member winner. So anyway, after we had Will on the program, I was asked by people at Cambridge Regional Latin High School to run their election for them.
Nice.
So there was one person at the high school was sort of prepping the files based on the balloting that they did. It was online balloting, and then they shipped me the files, and there I was watching crappy movies on TV on Friday night and running the election out of my living room.
It's because he doesn't have cable, that's why.
Yeah.
He's watching crappy movies.
Anyway, it was kind of fun, and everything went off. I mean, I have to be perfectly honest. I was kind of, I know a lot about ranked choice balloting in PR, proportional representation elections, as well as I'm familiar with the software, but I'd never actually run an election. So
True. It's usually the election commissioners who do that.
there are little technical things
Yeah.
like when you put a little alphanumeric string representing a candidate. Can you allow punctuation or space is okay?
Technical, right? So people have to realize how technical.
right.
I know.
But I'm just saying is that so I was kind of worrying about that, making sure. So I had all my ducks in a row. So by the time I got the files, it was sort of like I know exactly what to do. It's like I had drilled for it. So with boom, 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 boom. So I got everything prepped, and then when it was time to run the election, I ran 5 elections in 1 minute.
Wow.
Yeah, it was just like bang, 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 bang.
So it's all the programming. Or is it the software?
It's actually, it's just the software, but you have to sort of get your formatting, everything all
clear. You have to put in the
clear.
right fields and stuff.
Yeah, get it all really right. So anyway, so we ran the elections. It was kind of fun.
Did you give them the results yet?
Then I immediately sent them the results. So, and then I got a thank you in the morning, and that's
Nice.
that. Yeah.
Because school must be
and
out
I
soon.
and I promised Scouts on it not to divulge the results until they did it.
Yeah. When is school out? Is it next week?
It's
I don't
got to
think there
be.
are any snow
It's
days.
got to be really soon. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I felt like a real good civic doobie on Friday doing that.
Nice.
And then on Saturday was a pretty exciting day.
Did you do Dance World?
Well, there was actually one thing that was,
that was Sunday?
really great was something, actually, why don't you scroll down, there was a little map here I wanted to show that
How much? Scroll down.
every year around this time of year.
Oh, right here? This one?
Yeah, just the
Can I
one.
click on this to get bigger?
No, unfortunately, it's just going to be that one. But there's the Cambridge Pedestrian Committee runs a walk, and they plan it out, and they have some sort of highlights. Last year's theme was North Point, sort of the changing face of Cambridge and North Point area, down East Cambridge area.
Yeah.
This one was called Walkable West Cambridge, and the route, again, I won't get into too much detail about here, but the
Where did it start?
route started at the Civil
Right
War
there's the
Monument
start,
in the Cambridge Common, which, by the way, is almost ready for its ribbon cutting now.
Gosh, you know what? That place has undergone so many renovations, I can't keep up with it. Seriously.
Well, I tell you, the area around the monument is just so much nicer now.
Nice. So that will have an opening too?
Yeah, I think it's going to happen very soon. I don't know the date,
All right,
though.
as
I
soon
think
as
it was
you do,
mentioned.
put it on your
We definitely should want to do it
Civic
because
Journal.
it's really worth it. And then, as anybody who's kind of ever navigated around Harvard Square knows, there's all these little interesting cut-throughs and back alleys, and it's not all, you can go from block to block without actually going on the street in a lot of places. So one of the things they featured in this was actually kind of fun, was a lot of these kind of, let's call them secret cut-throughs.
Now, is that, on here, there's red and then there's blue. Is that the
I
secret
think the
cut-through?
blues are sort of the off-street
Oh, wait, the cut-throughs, yeah,
paths.
there's a little chart here. The very blue is the cut-throughs, okay.
Yeah. So there were a few really neat ones.
Yeah, right here.
I think I knew about almost all of them, but there was one.
I think I know this one, right here by Appian Way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's the
Yeah.
one that goes along the cemetery.
Yes,
yep.
yes, near Radcliffe.
Yeah.
Yeah, right,
But
then there's this
bunches
little
of them,
one.
really,
Yeah.
and
Ooh, a really
I
long one right here. I don't know what
yeah. Well, that's actually going in around the Radcliffe.
Oh, that's the
Quad.
Radcliffe Quad, okay,
Yeah.
all right.
I think to me the most interesting one that I didn't know about was
Yeah.
that, if you
Up
go
here?
from.
4?
Well, I don't even want to necessarily tell people. It's actually below
Alright.
the 5. Actually, might as well.
Yeah.
Below the 5 over there.
Right here?
There's a blue segment there which connects Hubbard Park Drive to Lowell Street. And you would never know it was a public easement.
Because
but
you think
it
you're
is.
going through people's
You
yards,
really, really
right?
think
That's
you're going
what
to
it looks
people's yard.
like,
And I
yeah.
certainly don't encourage people to abuse the fact that there is a public easement
Well,
there.
it's interesting that there's no others all along Brattle, and of course there.
Yeah.
There are more cut-throughs, only in the
yeah.
other part of town.
But it was great, and I'm such a blabbermouth when I
Yeah.
do on these events. I always end up sort of throwing in other little historical tidbits as
Was
we
Debbie
go
Galiff
through there.
there? She's on the committee.
Yeah,
right?
actually, Debbie Galiff
Yeah.
is the chair of the
Oh, she became
pedestrian
chair?
committee right now, and she was there
Great.
for the whole way. Actually, we had some very nice conversations. It was a
Yeah.
great time. The Cambridge Bicycle Committee does a ride in the spring and in the fall. The pedestrian committee does this one here. They're
I didn't
always
know
a good
about
time.
this. Yeah, I
actually.
wish I'd known. Well, no, I couldn't have gone on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, Saturday was like a banner day for a person who's just
Well,
sort
for
of.
local, but I had other things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I got to do the walk up. It was actually threat of rain and actual rain for some parts. It started raining at the very
It was a strange day,
end.
because I remember it got cool, but it didn't really rain, so it was good.
But it was also Fresh Pond Day, and I always go to that.
Oh, right, that's why I usually volunteer
So
for
I got
that.
there
do
late,
that.
but then, and because the rain was coming, they were shutting down just
Oh,
as
they
I got
were?
there. So I got to chat with the people,
Okay.
few people.
All right.
Then dropped by the Jose Mateo Ballet
That was going on.
Theater.
And did they have the
Dance for
outdoor
World
dance thing
Community.
from 6?
They actually had tents set up so there would dance going on.
Anyway, if the weather got in.
Yeah, but I was kind of starting to feel a little
Yeah,
beaten down by then.
I didn't go out because I was too tired.
Yeah.
Once I get home, it's hard
And
to
then
go out again.
something that some people know about this is I think it's the longest running block party in the city of Cambridge is the Antrim Street Block Party.
Oh, that was happening?
That's a big one, yeah, and that was on Saturday.
you live near there,
And
yeah.
that's right around the corner. I always say, because I
Sure.
live on Broadway right around the corner, but I'm not strictly
Yeah.
on Antrim Street, so I
They
would.
had a block party, yeah.
Well, people just put their name and their house number
Yeah.
on Antrim Street,
Yeah.
so I don't live on Antrim, I live around the corner.
Usually
So
a block party will encompass the,
it should, yeah,
abutting
and we had some
streets.
Broadway people there,
Yeah.
so, but I would always write Broadway interloper. But it was great, it was the 40th anniversary.
I guess other cities do, but I know Cambridge has a lot of.
Yeah, it was great,
communities that do that.
and they have tables set up in the middle of the street.
because they get
and
the street closed.
a lot of great
Phyllis
food.
Spreadhills lives on that
Actually,
street.
Phyllis
Yeah, she probably
is a
is a big
photographer,
organizer.
and she had there was these slideshows, rapid fire slideshows going on
Of the history of the block
after
party?
going back into its
Wow.
earliest days,
My
and
goodness.
it was amazing. I mean, people who I know who are full-grown adults with little baby pictures of
Oh
them.
my gosh.
It was, it
That's
was.
nice.
It's an event where you really
Yeah.
feel like Cambridge is like a real town.
Yes.
It's one of those real world shrinking kind of
Yeah,
events. It was
well,
a
you know,
great
it's
thing.
people that have lived on the street that are still living there. I mean, it's slowly, you know, because there's no big multiple buildings.
Yeah.
It's usually 3-deckers or the
Yeah.
most, right?
And I think it's probably at least worth saying. I mean, sort of after sort of a wonderful sort of day, Saturday, is then to wake up Sunday morning and hear
Oh,
this
awful.
just horrible,
That's true. It
horrible
was right.
stories
So first
coming
I
out
heard
of
like
Florida.
20 dead. That was bad enough, 20, and then all of a sudden,
And then it was
late
up
afternoon,
to
it
near
was
50
It's
people
like, what's
killed.
going on?
And you know, it's like, I don't think there's
Yeah.
a single person I know who wasn't horrified
Yeah.
and vocally horrified
Yeah.
by what happened.
Yeah.
There was actually, that night, there was also a shooting right next door to us, where we are right now, here in Central Square.
Wait a minute.
Woman was shot and the leg was not killed. But
In Central Square?
In Central Square. And
Sunday night?
yeah, it was outside of Monroe, which is a
Do you know about that
restaurant.
because you get like Twitter stuff or something?
It was actually on the
Really?
TV
Oh.
news as well.
I
But
was
they
just on
apparently
CNN,
there had been a
so
shooting there on May 15th. So
Oh, gosh.
what the hell's going on here, right?
At the same place?
Outside, I think, yeah. So
Oh,
some of
my.
us are a
'Cause
little
that's a new restaurant.
bothered, but of course,
Yeah.
we can be as bothered as we wish about that, but it pales in comparison to what
Yeah.
happened in Florida.
Well, it's interesting you bring up shooting because something I didn't go to because I don't own a gun was the gun buyback or.
That's right. That was
And
just.
you know what? I'm such an innocent. I said when I heard about this, I said, wait a minute, Cambridge, we have guns. I mean, I knew we had guns, but they had this before.
They have done this once before.
I'm kind of scared. They got 55 guns.
I'm glad they got them.
I know, but it bothers me that they're out there.
I know it.
But you know what? I'm just have
It's
to
part of the
wake up
culture.
to the reality.
Yeah, yeah.
Jeez.
Even if a person
Unbelievable.
wanted to be in favor of people's right to bear arms, to me, as far as I'm concerned,
No.
the right to if you feel you have a right to own an assault rifle, then you probably feel you
Yeah.
have a right to own a nuclear weapon.
Right.
To
I'm
me,
not sure
these
there are
are-
any assault weapons. It'd be interesting if there were
Right.
any assault. We haven't heard of any shootings using that kind of device in Cambridge. We do hear of shootings.
Right, but the thing is, in Florida, it was an assault
Oh,
rifle.
Florida! I
and-
mean, all the mass.
Yeah,
You know what I learned? Mass
mean-
killing is anything above 4 people.
Yeah, I'm willing
know
to
that?
be. Yeah, well, I mean.
No,
yeah,
really, that's
people-
how it's defined, a mass killing.
Well, it isn't defined except by individuals who decide to define it that way.
Well, except
when in a lot of the data
there's
that
been
they
133 of
the
them.
data that you've been seeing in graphics that have put
Yeah.
up in a lot of media outlets
Yeah.
definitely uses that as their standard.
Well, it's a lot of people.
It is a lot of people, and this was the single worst incident of
U.S. history.
individual gun violence in U.S.
Which is-
history, and it was
Yeah.
really sobering. There was a vigil, actually
Here,
everywhere,
around
including
the world,
City
I think,
Hall.
but also.
One thing I actually found impressive, though, was in Congress and elsewhere, people were holding moments of silence or asking for prayer. And there were people who were saying, this is not a time for a moment of silence.
Our Seth Moulton and Catherine Clark. Did
And I
not
said
do it.
that
Good
was
for them.
exactly the
Yeah.
right thing. This is not
Right.
a time for a
That's
moment
all
of
we
silence.
offer is prayers and thoughts and
Right.
silence. That's not good enough.
It's just not good enough.
Let's get it together in Congress.
So anyway, we're winding down for our first half hour.
Yeah.
Not on a bit of a somber note there, but
Right. We
you
didn't
know,
even
we'll
talk about the primer. We'll do that the
We'll
next
come back
half
here.
hour.
We'll be
So
back
that
in
was
3 minutes. You can't get rid of us that
Right.
easily.
All right.
Right. So anyway, so we'll
See you
come back
soon.
in a second here. And how shall we say this? So until 3 minutes from now, this has been Cambridge Inside Out.
Out.